6.6 is a lesson over solving proportions, which is also the main idea. Proportional and proportion obviously go hand in hand, where that is an equation stating that two ratios or rates are equivalent. So something is proportional if we have two ratios or rates that are equivalent. And that actually tags along with proportion as well. Proportional is an adjective to describe if two ratios or rates are equivalent. We will do this by finding cross product, which again is cross multiplying. We're pretty familiar with cross multiplying, so we'll get right into a problem. In science, before dinner, Mohammed answered 8 science problems in 32 minutes. After dinner, he answered 5 problems in 20 minutes. So I'm going to underline, I see that they gave us two ratios here. 8 science problems in 32 minutes. And then after dinner, we have 5 problems in 20 minutes. Is the number of problems he solved proportional to the time? So we have 8, what you call this, science prob in 32 minutes is our first ratio. And we're trying to see, is that equivalent to 5 science problems in 20 minutes. And to see if this is equal, we'll cross multiply and see if we get the same answer. Same number on both sides. 20 times 8 gives me 160. We'll see if that's equal to 32 times 5. 32. And 32 times 5 is also 160. So since they are equal, they are proportional. I would put yes, proportional, because it asks, is the number of problems he solved proportional? So yes, it is proportional. On to the next one. So now we're identifying proportional relationships. So now they're saying it's 5/15 equal to 8/22. So we'll have to cross multiply. This is actually a question. Is it proportional? So we're going to have to cross multiply here. 22 times 5 is going to get us, you can use a calculator on this as well, should get us 110. So we have 110 on top over here. 15 times 8 is going to be 120. Since 110 is not equal to 120, 5/15 is not proportional. To 8/22. Or you could write just not proportional also works. But again, I want to see the multiplication going on here. I want to see 22 times 5 and at least 110 written above the problem. For your homework, you would have had to rewrite both of these that I'm just circling right now. Example 3, we're now solving a proportion. They're telling us 4/9 is equal to 13 over some value. So again, we're going to cross multiply here. And so I now have, I'm going to rewrite the problem. This is what you'll do in your homework. Cross multiply, I'll draw my cross multiply. So now I have 4x equals 9 times 13. 9 times 13, again you can use your calculator, gives us 117. So now I have 117 equals 4x. 117 is not an even number, and since I am dividing by an even number, I will have a remainder. But since we have 4x, 4x is multiplying, right? 4 times x, so we need to divide. And what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So now I'm left with x equals 117 over 4, which I'll do on the calculator as well. 117 divided by 4, so I have 29 wholes. So 29 holes, but 29 times 4 equals 116. So I'm going to write 29, because that's the holes I took out, and then I took 116 away from that 117 in the numerator to get those 29 holes. 116 taken away from 117 will leave me with 1/4 left, and this is my answer of 29 and 1/4 equals X. We do not need to turn that into a decimal, since we weren't given any decimals, and this is in relatively fraction form. Now we have 24 over n equal to 6 over 9. So now we're solving for n. So as with all problems, I'm going to rewrite the problem. 24 over n equals 6 over 9. Now in this case, you can also use the second method of solving. As I see that 24 to 6 is a division by 4. So I'm actually trying to go the other way. 6 going into 24 is multiplying by 4. So since I see going from right to left is times 4, I can go from right to left from the 9 times 4. So n equals 9 times 4, which also equals 36. Now this does not always work, as with the last problem we did. That would not have worked, because 4 does not go into 13 evenly. But when you see that, it's good to do that, because that was a lot less work. However, if we did cross multiply, we would have gotten 6n equals 9 times 24. 9 times 24 is 180 plus 36 is 216. So 6n equals 216. Dividing both by 6, I'm going to get 36, which is the same answer. So you can do either way, but obviously it was a lot less work showing this work on the left here. We would still have to rewrite our answer as n equals 36. So we got the same answer both ways. Example 5. Solve 4.5 over 5 equals 18 over n. Now, I don't know my multiples of 4.5, so I'm going to cross multiply in this problem. So, I've rewritten the problem. Now I need to cross multiply, drawing my arrows. I now have 4.5n equals 5 times 18. I know 5 times 18 is 90. So 4.5n equals 90. Since 4.5n is multiplication, I do need to divide by the coefficient, because I want to solve for just one n. To solve for one n, we have to divide by the coefficient. I'm now left with 90 divided by 4.5. Again, we can plug this in our calculator, and I've got 20. So 90 over 4.5 is actually simplifies into 20, and n equals 20 is my final answer. Our next problem is football. According to specification, the ratio of the length of the field to its width must be 2 to 1. How wide must a football field be if it's designed to have a length of 90 yards? So right now it was telling us length to width is going to be 2 to 1. 2 length times 1 width, because length is always bigger. And when we're looking for a length of 90 yards, and we're trying to find out how wide it's going to be. So we can use the letter n. Again, this would be n yards. And this is our width on the bottom. So we need to cross multiply. I can rewrite this without our labels to make it look a little bit cleaner. I just need to remember that I do need the label of yards in my answer. So cross multiplying, 90 times 1 is 90, n times 2 is 2n. And now with 2n, I need to divide by the coefficient, because I just want a single n, solving just for one variable. N equals 90 over 2, and half of 90 is 45. So n equals 45 yards, where n is the width. So I can write n equals width. Or I could have written the width equals 45 yards. Either way would have been correct answer. Another word problem here, we have dance. The ratio of girls to boys at a dance is 3 to 4. So again, I'm going to write out right away. I have girls to boys. It was in the order of 3 to 4. So notice that girls was first, so they take the first number. Boys was second, so they take the second number. How many girls are there if there are 108 boys? Now we have 108 boys. They gave us the bottom, and we're looking for X girls. So again, I'm going to rewrite cleaning up without the labels. I have 3/4 equals X over 108. And if I know my multiples of 4, I could probably just do a multiplication right here. Since 108 is a little out of your typical norm, we're going to do a cross multiplication. So I have 4 times X is 4X. 108 times 3 is 324. So I have 324 equals 4x, and now we're on to dividing. Again, dividing by coefficient because we just want to solve for a single x. 324 divided by 4 is going to give me 81. And so x equals 81 girls. And that was our final problem. If you have any more help, you can always look at the peer tutors, and the homework helper will also be there to help you out. There's also more examples and more videos on YouTube if you need help beyond that.